Hi, this is Geshe Michael with the next installment of Tibetan language, learning to translate. We've been talking about suffix letters, and we're going to conclude today with the third class on suffix letters. So we said there were 10 suffix letters, Kanga, Dana, Bama, Ara, La, Sa. And we have now reached the last exception. We covered, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we've covered 9 suffix letters, and we only have one left. And it is so odd that it deserves its own class, okay, which is ah, okay. So this is a suffix letter in the Tibetan language, and there's a lot of special things going on with it, all right? So it's mostly utilized for orthographic purposes, which means spelling purposes. It was invented to distinguish between different words, okay? So it doesn't have, its effect is not that it's predictable, and it's not that it umlauts. It's just you just leave the sound whatever it was, okay? So if the preceding sound was an A, this just remains an A sound. It's just for an example, okay? So I'd like to give the example dak, okay? So dakpa, I think you know dakpa, like namdak, pure, okay? Dakpa means pure, okay? Dak means self, that's a different sound, and we'll talk about it later. This is the low tone voice sound with the eyebrows. Tak, tak, okay? It means pure, dakpa, dakpa. Now, if you add the suffix letters, ah, and here's the rule, and you just have to remember it, okay? First of all, ah never comes by itself in a two-letter syllable. Cannot. You will never see this. No such thing, okay? Unless the ah has something hanging on it, another vowel symbol, okay? But by itself, you will never see this combination. It's not allowed, okay? Ah never appears as a suffix letter by itself with no other vowel symbol unless there's a silent prefix letter before the main letter, okay? So when you see any combination, when you see this, taga, you would pronounce the main letter would be ta. The main letter in the suffix would be, in the syllable would be ta. And you have to learn why that's so, and we'll talk about it more. But for example, this is not the silent prefix letter, and this is like the main letter or something like that, okay? We are going to transition now into the prefix letters, which is a more difficult subject, okay? But just for your knowledge, get it? Okay, in English we also have silent prefix letters. They are orthographical. They tell you it's a different word with a different meaning. N-O-W means now, and it means present tense, and with a K it means to know, to understand, okay? So Tibetan also has silent prefix letters, which we'll be studying next, okay? Why am I mentioning them now in the suffix letters? Is that akyang, say akyang. Ah suffix letter by itself. By the way, the word in Tibetan for suffix letter, since we've got a little time in this last unit here, say je, njuk. Je, njuk. If you say it quickly, it comes out jenjuk. Jenjuk. Okay, say jenjuk. So this is a prenasal. We'll talk about it later. You don't know about those things yet. But anyway, it creates an N sound between these two. Say jenjuk. J means after. In Sanskrit, it's anu. Okay, it means after. It's a prefix in Tibetan, like consciousness, kan, or something like that. Okay, J means after. Juk means, like umala jukpa, chinjuk. To enter. Okay. So, or to apply, you can say apply. So Genjuk is the Tibetan word for a suffix letter because it comes after. Okay, Genjuk. Okay, so when A acts as a Genjuk by itself with no other vowel sign, A kyang. Kyang means only, alone. Okay, there's a channel here called the kyangmo. Same thing. Maybe. It's just, it doesn't change the sound. Okay, this, if it existed, this would be ka, with or without the a suffix letter. Okay, so it's just for spelling purposes. In our case here, talk, when you add an a suffix letter, the letter which is the main letter of the syllable shifts, changes to the middle one. Okay, so this is pronounced ga, ga. Okay, ga, and it means bliss, right? Like ganden, or like that. Ga wo, ananda. Okay, so ga means bliss, right? Ga, to be happy. This is tak, and this is ga. So this is tricky. You have to learn this suffix letter. Whenever you see an akyang, whenever you see an a by itself, the main letter of the syllable is the one in front of it, and not the first one. This is never tak. Okay, the main letter is the second one. So you have to learn, when you're learning Tibetan, you have to learn to identify what is going to be the main letter. Are there any silent prefixes going on here? This D has the same linguistic value as the K in that it's silent. You see, the D is silent. It has an effect on the main letter. We'll talk about it later. But this is ga. Okay. Now, something happens when you start adding vowel symbols to this a. So that's why it deserves its own treatment. All right. For example, there's a naro, which is a completion symbol in Tibetan. It means end of sentence or end of thought. Like so, the Buddha says. That O is a finalizer. Like so, period. Like so, period. In the Heart Sutra, right? The O symbolizes completion. So we can add an O vowel to this suffix a, and then the whole thing changes, and it becomes a diphthong. Okay, diphthong means when you have two contiguous vowel sounds, and they are rare in Tibetan. Okay, Tibetan is a single vowel language with a few exceptions, most of them centering around this final a. So this is pronounced gao, say gao. So you have two vowel sounds contiguous, a, o, which is very unusual in Tibetan. Okay, say gao, gao. Okay, so that would mean bliss, period. That end of story, gao. What do you get when you combine blah, blah, blah? Gao. No further conversation, gao. Okay, gao. Okay, so very not common in Tibetan, diphthongs. Okay, let's do another vowel symbol on the a suffix letter that also changes the meaning of words. And I'm going to give you the example of, let me think of a good example. Okay. Say pa, yatak, jumps up 2 rows to cha, cha. It's not bia, okay? Pa, say pa, yatak. Ba with a ya joined under. Tak means joined under. It makes cha, okay? Cha means a bird, okay? This spelling means a bird, okay? If you add an a, by the way, I told you that a could never be used with 2 letters. There'd have to be another letter in front of it, unless it has a vowel symbol attached to it. So this is legal, okay? This is legal. And it happens to change in pronunciation to this gets added to it, but don't stress about it, okay? I just couldn't think of another example. The a, say a, shapkyu, u. Okay, a is the closest thing to, can I say, it's sort of a low tone a, okay? And we talked about it already when we did the alphabet. But a, shabkyu, shu, u, say a, shabkyu, u, is the diminutive in Tibetan. It means widow biddy, whatever, okay? So, J is ape. Add Ju, it becomes a monkey. You see what I mean? Cha means a bird. Chu means a baby bird or a widow bird. Okay, in English we have E-T-T-E, like, I don't know, a little one, like, or we say Mikey instead of Mike. Like we have diminutives in English also. So it means a little version of whatever it's talking about. So a shepkyu u is used as a suffix letter with a shepkyu to mean a small version. Liu means a chapter, a small section of text. Piu, as I said, means a small monkey. And like that, Q means a boy, a youth, Q. Okay, so anything ending with an U, you can bet it's a widow one. Okay, it's a diminutive. Okay, there's one more important use of a as a suffix, and that's a giku I. Say a, giku I. And when you're learning Tibetan, and when you're learning to read, and when you're studying with your teacher in a monastery, a giku I becomes like a mantra. Say a, giku I. Let's use the same word, cha, which means bird, okay? And it can also mean rooster, chati, but that's another story. Then we add the famous, very famous, agiku I, okay? That makes it, the agiku I in English is apostrophe S, okay? Possessive. And we'll learn the different cases of Tibetan grammar. They are modeled after Sanskrit cases. And you should, if you're going to have fun with the language, you might as well learn about language itself, because language reflects the mind. If you want to study emptiness, for example, language is a great way to go at it. Linguistics is a great way to go at it. So to learn something about linguistics is useful. Apostrophe S is the possessive, also called the genitive. So in grammar, you can call it either the possessive or the genitive. And it means belonging to so-and-so. John's book, Harry's cow. Okay, so this one, chai, and it's a slight Y sound at the end of the word. So say chai, chai, of the bird. The bird's beak or some chai chuto. The beak of the bird, okay, chai. But when you're in a debate in a monastery, or when you're discussing a text with somebody, it's got to roll off your tongue like apostrophe S. What is it? Agikui. It's got to be like agikui. What are you talking about? Agikui. Say agikui. A with the giku symbol makes I. Chai. So that's another diphthong. So these are three, probably, I don't know, 90% of the Tibetan diphthongs we just covered. Okay. Very rare in Tibetan for two vowel sounds coming. Say gao, chiu, and chai. Okay, and those are the uses of as a suffix letter. So it's kind of in its own category. So to summarize all the suffix letters, there are 10. Kangadana bama arala sa. And 5 of them are predictable, and 4 of them are not so predictable but have an umlauting effect. A changes to e, U changes to U, and O changes to okay? And so 4 of them have an umlauting effect. And then A is sort of in a category of its own as a suffix letter, okay? And it has these effects, orthographical effects, so you know what's the main letter to be pronounced, as a akyang, without another symbol of a vowel. And then a finalizer when it's used in a sentence, gao, lexo, and a diminutive when it's used as a shepkyu, and a possessive when it comes as a giku. Those are all the cases of it that I can really think of. There are, Bill Boom, for example, is a word for a chronicle, a short chronicle, and like that, okay? So we finished all the suffix letters. Our next task is not as easy. It will be the 5 prefix letters, and we'll be covering that in the next exciting installment of Tibetan language.